I'm going to go over a super easy day trading strategy that's helped me pass several combines with Top Step. It actually got me into a live funded account with them. I have a live account that I use this strategy in. And also, I just passed 2 combines today to add XFAs on top of my live funded account using this exact strategy. I'm going to share my screen. We'll go over all the details on this. We've gone over it in previous videos, but I really want to go into depth on what this strategy is and why I use it and how it is so powerful. But first thing is first, guys. My Discord server has been widely requested. I finally decided to open it. There's a link down in the description. There's tons of people hopping in there. They're blowing up the Profits channel. It's been a good time. There's tons of people in there where it's starting to grow very, very quickly. So if you want to hop in on that action, be sure to click that link in the description to join that Discord server. And the other thing is that I will be going live again next month right here on YouTube, where I will trade the NASDAQ in front of you. You'll see my green days, my red days, my full tilt moments, everything right here on this YouTube channel. So if you want to catch that, hit that subscribe button. And the last thing before we get into the video, smash that like button. It's a free way to support the channel. It tells YouTube, hey, I like this guy, I like the content he's putting out. I want to see more of it. So let's get into the video, man. I'm gonna share my screen here. You can see that I actually passed combine today. I passed 2 combines today. This one, 150K Top Step X account. Profit target was 159,000. We ended up making 1,400 on it to pass. And then we, on the next one here, we made 1,500 on this one to pass this one as well. So we passed 2 combines today. So we'll have some fresh XFAs to trade on top of our live funded account with Top Step. Super excited about that. Let's get into the strategy. The overall strategy behind on what I'm trading is called the initial balance filled auction, right? If you don't know what the initial balance is, it's the first hour of the trading session from 8:30 to 9:30 my central time, or if you're Eastern, it would be from 9:30 to 10:30, right? And so that's New York time, but I'm Central, so I'm going to talk about the central time of this, right? So market opens for me at 8:30 a.m. Central time. The first hour is from 8:30 to 9:30. So let's just mark that out real quick. All right, let's mark it out. Let's grab the square tool here. There we go. And then we'll mark out the first hour of the trading session. We'll go here. This would have been the 9:30 candle here. All right, perfect. And then let's actually delete that. There we go. All right. So we can see that this is the first hour of the trading session from 8:30 to 9:30. And what we're looking for here is we're marking out the highs and the lows of the first hour. So this would have been the low, right? Right here. Actually, let's just move that over so we get more clarity there. That would have been the low of the first hour. And then this is the high of the first hour. Now, while this was all happening and while this was all taking place, this right here, these 2 candles, before this even happened, if we're just looking at these 2 candles, before this happened, this was the initial balance high, right? This was the initial balance high. We had a double top. We kept rejecting. We came back up, tried to run it again, and we failed. Since this candle, this 925 candle, tried to break above the initial balance high and failed it, and then ended up closing below the initial balance and opening on the 930. The 930 candle ended up closing and then reopening below the initial balance. That was my sign to take this thing short. I actually took this short around I think it was 850-ish. I ended up taking a short somewhere around in here with a stop loss above the highs here. And this thing immediately just ran in my favor. I don't think I took any drawdown on this. It just completely just ran, and I scaled in on pretty much the whole way down. And so we took 0 drawdown and just scaled in. So what was it that I was looking for, right? Again, the initial balance is the first hour, right, of the trading session, and it's the high and low. The 30-minute candle closed below the initial balance high. And so when we opened below, that's when I decided to take this baby short, okay? And taking this short allowed us to capitalize on a very large move to the opposite end of the initial balance. And that's a lot of times what I'll look for. If there's momentum, if you catch a failed auction, whether it be to the downside or the upside, there are times where you can ride it to the opposite end of the initial balance. And then in this case, that's exactly what happened. Does it always happen that way? No, it doesn't. And it won't always happen that way. It's not guaranteed. But it is a high probability setup that this thing could run to the other end of the initial balance. And so if momentum is allowing me to have a runner and I can trail my stop, then I will try to run this to the other end. In this case, I was able to do that. We actually took out the initial balance low and ran lower, and I capitalized on it, I think somewhere down into like here. But the one thing that you want to look for is, are we closing below the initial balance? This is the 930 candle. You can see we closed below the initial balance high. We opened up on the next candle, and then it was just go time from there, right? We entered somewhere like right in here, like I said, and then just rode this thing down. All right. Now, what could happen, right, is we do close below, but then we come right back up. And that's where you want to set a stop loss, is above these highs. Because if we come back up and want to run the initial balance high, chances are we're going to have continuation and it's going to go. And a safe stop loss would be right above the highs here, right? And now size accordingly, okay? Don't start off with just massive size, because I know, like I said, I entered at 850-ish, something like that. It was like 852, 853, right? The high here is 895. Okay, so that's a wide stop loss. So you want to size accordingly that you can stomach that. If it does go back up and run the highs, you can stomach that loss, because it is a very wide range. And there are a lot of times where if I wait for the candle to close below the initial balance high, that it runs without me and I don't ever get an entry. That a lot of times that will happen. You'll find that trading the strategy, that will happen a lot. However, once you do get that entry, it's a very high probable setup, and this thing could allow you to get into massive profit. And so that's the one thing that I look for, right? Now let's just play the opposite end of this, right? Let's just reverse everything here. Let's say that we did miss our entry, okay? And this thing ran without us. Well, we can see that we took out the initial balance low. And now one thing you can expect is, if buyers want to step us back up, we could fail the initial balance low and come back up. And that could have been a trade that you took. You could have played the opposite end of this. Now, not every day does the price actually break the initial balance high and then go break the initial balance low. And that does not happen every day. You don't get a double break to each side, right? You just don't get that all the time. But there are certain times and certain special days that will happen. And in this case today, that was it. So you could have waited today and you could have said, okay, we failed the initial balance low. Bang, let's hop in long and take this baby back up. You could have caught some nice profit there, right? Now, we did reject, obviously, and come back down, but that could have been one of the plays that you made today, is catching a little bit of a break and riding it up, okay? But in this case, the big trade was catching the failed initial balance auction on the upside and riding that sucker down. That was the trade I took today. Now, again, just to re-emphasize here, it is the first hour of the trading session, so you want to make sure that you mark out, right? If you're going to trade this strategy, mark out the lows and the highs of the first hour, right? And mark them out as the session is continuing, because this could have been the initial balance high, or this could have been the initial balance high. And in this case, this was the initial balance high, but this could have been the initial balance high, right? Which it was at one point. And this candle, or this candle, could have came down here. It could have made initial balance low and then ran back up, right? So as the session continues, always make sure you're marking out what the low is and what the high is. That way you know exactly where the initial balance high and lows are, and you can play that into your strategy, right? Now, did this have to happen? No, it couldn't. We could have failed the initial balance high, like I said earlier, and then had continuation, have a stop loss above, and then killed the trade there. But overall, that is the bread and butter of what I have been using to help me, one, pass multiple combines, and two, get into a live funded account with Top Step. It's a very powerful strategy. Very powerful. It's a high probability setup. Trading is all about probabilities. And when you find strategies like this that present those high probability setups, it gives you a little bit of edge over the market and allows you to have a clear vision on what you're looking for and what you can expect the move to do, right? And so that's why I love this strategy so much. I've used it for pretty much like half of my trading career so far, and it's been amazing. So definitely recommend you guys trying this out. If you have any questions over this, again, join my Discord. You can ask me whatever questions you have on the strategy in my Discord. I'm always active in there. You guys can ask me whatever you want. I'm going to be doing live trainings inside of Discord as well, so make sure that you don't miss those. We're going to go live every single Friday of the week. Just recapping the week. What strategies did we trade? What entries did we take? Are we up? Are we down? Answering questions you guys have. And overall, it's going to be a free training inside the Discord. So if you want to catch that, make sure you guys tune in to the Discord. If you like this kind of content, smash that like button down below. Subscribe to the channel, get more daily content, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.